Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about something real quick, just having a quick video. This is going to be like a part 1 to what I want to talk about. So let's get into it. So today I want to talk about my sorority experience. Well, a little background. When I first moved to my second college, I was literally there 2 days, I think. And there was a dorm fire, ironically, in my dorm. I was new to this college. I didn't know where I was going. It was cold. I transferred mid-year, so it was spring semester, but it was like January, so it was freezing where I was. And so I didn't know anyone or anything. I actually was at a like Meet the Greeks event when I came back, and there was people outside from my dorm, and there was smoke coming out of it, and then all of a sudden there was just like a lot of flames and things going on. Thank God my stuff wasn't hurt, like none of my stuff was lost or gone. We were out 10 days though from that dormitory, so it was on the other side of where I lived. It was facing the dorm. The fire was on the left side and I was all the way on the right side, so unfortunately those people had lost everything, and I think the people below them too. But I honestly don't know what happened with that. But I came back from Meet the Greeks, and that was that. I was literally at the school for 2 days. It was the first day of classes that this happened. So I was new, had no idea what was going on, and at the time I didn't have an Apple phone. I didn't have an Apple phone, like a smart Apple phone. I had like a different kind of phone. I don't remember what it was. So like I was scrounging around, like asking people if they had this specific charger because my phone was gonna die, and I couldn't contact my parents, and it was crazy. Just, to say, I ended up going to the library and hanging out. Thank God I had a childhood friend from high school going to that college, and she helped me out a lot. She let me stay with her, and I will always forever be grateful to her for that, because honestly, it was a scary experience, being somewhere new and, being somewhere where you don't know anyone or anything, and you have nowhere to go. So that was that. So I started rushing, that week, and it was tough, because of the fire and everything. My friend, was gracious enough to take me home that weekend. I went and got some clothes from home and things like that I needed, and brought them back up, and so that was nice. But it was scary because trying to rush a sorority during all of that was very stressful. I had regular classes, and then after that, you had Greek events. You had on-campus Greek events and then off-campus Greek events, if you know what I mean. So it was really busy. It was crazy. I had to wear, certain things, and I was very limited with my clothing, my closet, if you will, because I didn't have any of my stuff that was in my room. So it was a very scary experience. I had a very different experience, I think, the most just because of that. I didn't have, all my clothes and all the things that I needed. I didn't even have all the books that I needed for those classes the first 2 weeks of school. It was very crazy, and it was very surreal. I will probably talk more about my experience and more about Greek life in a different video, mainly because I have about 10 minutes until I have to go into work. But I just want to kind of scrape the surface and kind of talk about it a little bit in my personal experience. I originally wanted to do Greek life and be in a sorority because of the show Greek. If anyone's seen Greek, it was an ABC Family show, and to me, it was everything. That is my second favorite show in the world. So it was a very big deal for me to at least try to rush and see what would happen. Usually you have a rush buddy, usually you have a friend that you make, or a roommate or someone that you kind of rush with, and I didn't have that. So I ended up rushing alone. I tried making friends, and I made a few, but like I'm better with faces than names. So I was always embarrassed if I didn't remember somebody's name. But I remembered who they were, and I remembered, who they were rushing. I remembered what sorority they were from. Meet the Greeks, the day of the dormitory fire, was very interesting because they had it in like a business hall on campus. It was one of the halls that was used for like business meetings and things specifically like that. I remember walking in and being overwhelmed. There was different kinds of tables, and all the sororities were at their own little table. And I just remember not knowing anything about Greek life. Like all the things about Greek life I knew was from Greek the show. And there's a lot of things in Greek the show that you don't pay attention to if you're not in Greek life, like the terminology and different things that they actually have to do in Greek life until you actually are in Greek life. Like, I didn't know what a chapter meeting was, or e-board, or, different rituals and things that you have, and, Greek week, and having to wear certain shirts and colors and whatever have you on those days. And it's funny because it's all real. All of that stuff is, I think the writer was in Greek life. Or if they weren't, they definitely researched it heavily. So basically I walked in, and you go to each table, and I, introduce myself. They kind of tell you about themselves, and they kind of give you a vibe if they're good for you or not. Basically, there are two different types of Greek, if you want to call it. There's unrecognized and recognized. A recognized fraternity or sorority is you are nationally recognized. You are national. You are, that chapter is one of millions nationally. Unrecognized is pretty much, either a group of people made a unrecognized frat or sorority on that specific campus, or they have used an unrecognized name, similar to other campuses. Like, it's kind of hard to really decipher. Like, it's kind of hard to really give a definition. At least for me, it's kind of hard to give a definition. Unrecognized, basically, you don't have to follow the rules of IGC, which is Inter-Greek Council. That's where all the hazing and things like that happen in a lot of schools and stuff like that. Hazing is not allowed in a recognized fraternity or sorority. I'm sure some people do it in other states. I'm sure, other places people do that. My school had a lot of rules against it, so no. My sorority did not. I don't know about other sororities or fraternities. They should not, if they are recognized. That's all I have to say, is they should not be doing so. Unrecognized is basically you're kind of like wasting money, and it's all about hazing, and it really doesn't get you much. Recognized is basically, it's good for your resume, it's good for networking and connections, it's good to understand how meetings go, like professional business meetings. You have chapter meetings. Ours was every Monday night. You had to dress professional, like business casual, and we went through Robert's rules to, for the meeting. And I think that was very important. I think a lot of the times we all were annoyed because it was a Monday night. You had homework, you had classes the next day, things like that. So it was a little frustrating to have it on a weeknight, but at the same time, your weekends were also full too. Your weekdays and weeknights are basically full. Like, what I want to say is if you decide to go into Greek life, that is awesome for you. Please do it. I have a lot of mixed feelings about it, just because it was hard for me to really make friends, because there's a lot of like fake atmosphere going on. There was a lot of people interested in things that I was not interested in. But at least try for it. If that's what you want to do, definitely try for it. It's a really good experience. I would not trade it for the world. Honestly, it helped me with a lot of things. It helped me, I want to say, be more mature. It helped me understand business meetings. It helped me, you know, do a lot of things that I normally wouldn't have been able to do. We did a lot of fundraisers. We did a lot of charity work. We did a lot of, you know, a lot of things like that. And I really loved that. I loved doing that. And it was great. It really showed how you can team together and do good things. And that's what Greek life is all about. Like, people look at Greek life and the stigma that, you know, the movies and TV shows and, you know, Hollywood basically gives a stigma to Greek life. And honestly, yeah, cool, you go to some parties, but honestly, that's not your life. The part that takes over your life is the fundraisers and the charity work and the community service hours and having to make sure your GPA is up and good, and the library study hours, and going to this IGC event and that IGC event, and making sure on time for all these things and dressed properly. There's a lot that goes into it, and I want to put all of that into a different video because right now I pretty much have to go. But I wanted to put this into parts, basically, like, you know, explaining what Greek life is, kind of getting away from that stigma, and then getting back kind of into it and different things that I've seen and, you know, experienced. Because, yes, there are parties, and yes, you do see things that, you know, you don't want to see. There are people that are all about the party scene, but there is a huge, you know, it's a big stigma, and I don't like the stigma of what Greek life is, especially, like, from Hollywood's, you know, point of view. They don't realize the amount of hours it goes into, and, you know, it basically is your life. Other than your classes and your homework, that is your life. It is. It's your life. If you join Greek life, it becomes your life for however long you are in it, however long you are at school for. And, you know, it's big. It's something that, you know, you have to think about. But I'm saying, by all means, if you're thinking about rushing, just do it. It's an incredible experience. Now, I definitely am going to talk more about it in a different video, but, you know, I just wanted to basically say that there's a big stigma on it, and I definitely want to, squash that, because yes, again, there are parties, there are things that happen, you know, there are different experiences, but it's not just partying, it's not just getting drunk, it's not just, you know, being crazy. It's not. You do a lot of work, and I think a lot of people don't realize that you have to have library hours every week. You have to make sure your GPA is a certain GPA. You have to do fundraisers and charity work and philanthropy and go to the IGC events and go to your business chapter meetings and things like that. Like, there is a lot going on. So aside from your classes and homework and papers and reading and all of that stuff in school, you have this whole other life that keeps you busy and keeps you on your toes, and like literally you have to figure out how to time manage everything. And you know, that's kind of what I want to get to in the next video, is talking about that. So if you're interested in Greek life, comment below, ask questions for the next video. I would love to answer them, and I would love to talk about my experience in the next video, and, you know, different things that have helped me or different things that might have hindered me from something. You know, it's a very big decision to go into Greek life, and like I said, it definitely becomes your life aside of schoolwork. So it's definitely a good experience. It's definitely something that looks good on a resume. It definitely is something that could help you network, and it's something that can really help you in the long run, especially, you know, certain fields of work, depending on what you want to do. There's a lot of, you know, things that it can kind of help you and back you up with in the future. It's not just like, oh, hey, let's go party. It's a lot more to that. So I'm going to talk more about it in the next video. So comment down below. Ask me, you know, what you want to hear about, what you want me to talk about. Ask any questions, and I will definitely answer them for you. I hope everyone has a great Wednesday, and I'll see you next time.